Minecraft's 1.21 Tricky Trials update adds thousands of new things, so let's just look at which ones will affect your survival world. Hello there, Ray here, and let's first take a look at the biggest one, which is the Trial Chambers. But before you excitedly update your world, make a backup of it, and consider collecting these rare items before they are removed in 1.21. And just for clarification, this update does not include the experimental villager trade rebalance or bundles. Now back to the Trial Chambers. You can find these new deep underground structures by buying a Trial Explorer map from a cartographer that is at a journeyman's level. This will lead you to the nearest one, which is found in the Deep Slate layer. Entering the structure for the very first time will get you the Advancement Minecraft Trials Edition. Besides these structures containing a ton of free copper blocks, there's a lot of loot in these structures, starting out with the decorative pots, which have a chance of dropping these things, which is how you get the 3 new pottery shards and the new music disc. Barrels can be found with these loot. There is also corridor loot, supply loot, entrance loot, corridor end loot. There's also loot that comes from the trial spawners. These will activate once the player gets close to them. They will spawn in mobs. The player then has to kill the mobs. There will be a couple waves of these same type of mob. And then once you have completed in killing all of them, the trial spawner itself will open up and drop out a chance of these loots, which includes getting the new trial key. And the keys can be used on these vault blocks, which can be partially hidden. And the first time will get you this advancement under lock and key. These vaults will produce these types of loot, and each vault will only give loot one time per player. And you can get the same type of loot from reward chests, which are down hallways. This is how you get the new flow pattern, the bolt armor trim, as well as the new music disc. It's also how you get the new ominous bottle, and when you drink it, it will be removed and give you the bad omen effect. And you can also get these ominous bottles by killing a pillager captain. Instead of them giving the bad omen directly, these bottles are now dropped, which you then would drink to get it. So you'll now need to get the bad omen from one of these bottles in order to start a raid. This will start a 30-second timer with the new effect Raid Omen, and only once this is gone, then the raid will load just like normal and go through its different waves. And this will change up how automatic raid farms are done, as you now have to drink the potion before starting a new raid. Luckily, by having the raid down there by that villager, we are out of the raid zone, therefore we can get the captains to drop us new ominous bottles, so we can continue to produce new raids without having to go get more bottles. So double check that you're still subscribed so you don't miss out on the upcoming video where I'll show you guys the new raid farms. Besides raids, there is a second ominous event which can occur using the bad omen. So if you have this effect and you come in range of a trial spawner, which converts the bad omen into trial omen. It switches out from a normal trial spawner into one of these harder ominous trial spawners. These guys can have armor as well as good weapons, yet the armor or weapons won't actually drop for you. And these fights get harder depending on how many players are in the area. It also drops different types of projectiles from the sky randomly. These projectiles include 4 new potion types. Anything with the infested potion effect has a 10% chance at spawning in a silverfish when they take damage. And I use this to make an infinite silverfish XP farm. Mobs that die with the oozing effect will produce 2 medium slimes. Then these can be broken down for tiny ones, which will give you the slime balls. And I made this insanely fast slime farm, which doesn't even need a player and is tileable. Mobs that have the weaving effect, when they die, will put in a cobweb nearby. Which of course I made this into a farm so you can get a renewable source of cobweb. And any mob that has the wind charging effect, when it dives, it will produce a wind explosion, just like the wind charges. And we use this to make an insane player launcher. So please leave a like on the video for all this effort. But once you do complete the ominous trial spawner, you get better loot, including the new ominous trial key. And you can get unlimited amounts of the trial and ominous trial keys by using this AFK farm of mine. And ominous keys have to go into a special vault called a ominous vault. It'll give you all this great loot, including the new advancement revaulting. And this is how you get the new banner pattern flow, as well as armor trim flow and the new music disc. Besides rare drops like the enchanted golden apples, there is a super rare drop of the new heavy core block. So on average, you have to defeat 45 of these ominous trial spawners before getting a chance at the heavy core drop. The heavy core is used with another new item which comes from another new mob called the breeze. This mob is only found here in the trial spawners, coming from this one here, and shoots out these wind charge projectiles which can push the player around. And you can even reflect these wind charges back at a breeze. If you hit the breeze and kill them, you get this special advancement, which is called blowback. You could also find another new mob here, which is these bogged mobs, which are like skeletons, except they shoot out poisonous arrows. They also can be found naturally spawning in swamp biomes, and if you use shears on them, they will drop the mushrooms, which is growing from their heads. When they are killed, they have a chance of dropping skeleton loot as well as arrows of poison. The breeze mob also has unique loot. Once killed, it will drop the breeze rod. The breeze rod can then be crafted down into 4 wind charges. And I even made an automatic farm for breeze to get their breeze rods and wind charges so you can have unlimited amounts of them. The wind charges can be thrown by the player by right clicking and will act similar to the breeze's wind charges, where they can activate a number of things including doors, gates, trapdoors, bells, buttons, and levers, while also pushing things that are nearby, including sending the player upwards, where you can even get a new advancement, Who Needs Rockets, by sending yourself up at least 8 blocks using a wind charge. And in using a ton of wind charges, you can send stuff up really far, or you can make stuff go really fast, like here in my breeze cannon, which can instant kill the dragon, wither, and even the warden. Breeze rods are also the second item in order to produce the mace. This uses up the heavy core and gets you this really powerful weapon. It's as strong as an iron sword, but it has a special smash attack which is only activated when you fall at least 1.5 blocks. When it goes off, it prevents you from taking fall damage, but it also will push nearby entities. With the greater you fall, the more damage you will do, but also the higher risk of missing and killing yourself. To repair it, you need to use breeze rods on it. Besides accepting enchantments like Unbreaking, Mending, Fire Aspect, Smite, or Bane of Arthropods, there is also 3 new enchantments just for it. With the density, it goes up to level 5 and lets you do more damage for every block you fall. Even though the mace is a slow attacking tool, just by dropping down 14 blocks, you can do over 100 damage in one hit, which also gets you advancement over overkill, dealing 50 hearts of damage in a single hit using the mace. There's also the breach enchantment, which can go up to level 4, but cannot be put on the same mace as density, which reduces the effectiveness of the armor that is being worn by your enemy. And there is wind burst, which can be combined with the others, which will make the wind burst effect whenever using the mace's smash attack. This will launch everything up into the air, including yourself, which you can use to chain another attack, making a deadly combination. And in the trial chambers, you can find 5 new blocks. They come in all the different types of oxidized levels as well as wax versions. The chiseled copper can be made out of 1 copper block, and copper grades can also be made using the stone cutter. The trapdoors as well as doors have to be crafted using ingots, and to make the copper bulb you also need a blaze rod and redstone dust. Copper bulbs have some unique redstone characteristics. Whenever they get powered, they will change state, and they will retain that state even after they lose power. This makes them great for a very small and compact T flip-flop, but they do take 2 game ticks to update like most redstone components. And the more oxidized they are, the less light they will put off. And removing the oxidization from a copper bulb will get you another new advancement, lightening up. There's also a bunch of new variations of the tuff block, including normal, bricks, polished, and even chiseled, which can easily be made by using the stone cutter. There's also a total of 20 new paintings that you can get in survival. You get these just by placing down your normal default random paintings, then you'll have a chance at getting one of the new ones. One of the coolest new items is the crafter. This new block can be paired up with redstone in order to make an automatic crafting device, where ingredients will be put into the specific recipe and will produce whatever you want. I showed the full potential of this new block in this video here, where I showed different redstone contraptions which can auto-craft every single type of recipe, even a completely 3x3 grid with this device here, which I have even fixed so that it overcomes a bug in the game by having a little comparator fade out clock over here. And I even made this crazy auto crafter machine which can not only automatically craft crafters as well as pistons, but has all the supporting farms in order to keep this process going on indefinitely. And after designing this farm, they came out with a new advancement, so if you would actually craft a crafter using a crafter, you get the advancement Crafters Crafting Crafters. and witch farms got buffed in 1.21, with witches dropping 200% more redstone dust, which makes the items per hour about double what they were before. Speaking of new farms, I came out with a bunch of new farms using the obsidian platform, which breaks down blocks rather than just deleting them like they did in the past. You can learn more about it in this video here. On the topic of portals, ender pearls now work going through portals, so you can teleport directly into a different dimension, great for quick transporting. And now things riding other things can go right through different portals. And Job Edition can now put a leash on a boat, making an easy way to transport mobs like villagers. Now watch this playlist on all the new farms you can build, and stay tuned for more 1.21 tricks and crazy things that I discovered. And I'm only able to continue this dedication because of my supporters here, so thank you everyone who supported me by a YouTube member, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye!